Hey guys, what's up? This is Meathead Mikkel from meatheadgaming.com, and today I'm going to make a quicker video about some group Torment 3 rifts that we're doing. And, I'm sure there are some more serious players that are already doing T6, but it's only like 2 days after release, and we're already doing group Torment 3, and my wizard is already geared in rares to basically one-shot everything in T1. And I am going to be linking another video in the description below where I show you guys kind of like how you can progress pretty quickly through a combination of crafting. But I'm just going to roll through the gear real quick, and these are my pieces. They're all re-rolled, and this is all level 70 gear. There's nothing from 62.0 with the exception of one piece. No legacy pieces, nothing. Like, I've already gotten rid of all that stuff, and that's what I was saying. Everything prior to this is useless. The only piece that I'm using from 62.0 is this, and the only reason I'm using it is because of the attack speed on it. It's actually, it gives me a pretty decent amount of damage, so, but that's the only thing. Everything else is 70. And, my skills, Surge of Power, Frozen Orb, Wormhole, Sparklet for damage. I'm using Pinpoint Barrier for more damage and mitigation. Damage. I do need some AP regen. Illusionist for rifts is pretty key, I feel, because you guys will see it's pretty chaotic when you're facing multiple elites at once. You need to be able to get out of battle, and this passive is just OP. So fully buffed without the group buffs, I'm at, if I'm moving around, I'm over 1,000,000 DPS and 6.5 mil toughness. I'm standing still for a second and a half, I get up to 1.1 and 8.3, and pretty decent on resists. Gonna get close to 10k armor soon. Passive regen, 8k, and 4k life on hit. So let's go ahead and jump in, and this is just going to be kind of like an action video because I'm going to talk more about the build itself and the gear in a different video. But let's go ahead and get this rolling. And realistically, I think probably within a week's time we'll be able to do Torment 6. Maybe not a week, maybe like a week and a half. But I mean, this is literally day 2 after release, and we're just stomping this. Yesterday we were doing Torment 3, and it was a little bit harder, but we geared up. I'm getting close to rolling almost perfect, or very close to it, rare gear. So the next upgrade step is going to be legendaries, and I do believe that legendaries, like full legendary gear, is going to be required for Torment 6. But for now, I think we'll be able to actually probably even go up to Torment 4 with just like a couple legendaries and maybe a legendary weapon, but everything else being rare. So guys, it's really not that hard. All it is just a gear check, and a lot of people are really worried about this being really hard, and it's not. Like, it's actually just as easy as 2.0, even easier, because it's a lot easier to, like, you can enchant gear, and so it's a lot easier to get progressively better gear. And again, I'm going to explain that in a different video, but it's so easy to gear up. And that's why, day 2 we're already doing group T3. And, I may or may not make another video about just solo rift play, but like I said, with this level of gear, I'm already one-shotting everything on Torment 1. And I did re-roll this to a socket from Vitality, and the elite damage increase is actually huge. Like, it helps kill elites fast. And that's another thing, guys. I think a lot of people, myself included, are going to start using Diamond Sim in their weapons, because when you do rifts, or even maybe just like have a weapon that you swap for rifts, because there's so many elites. Like, there's just a ridiculous amount of elites in the game now. Particularly in rifts. In the last video we were doing, I didn't record it, but we were facing off. We were taking on the Rift Guardian and 3 packs of elites all at the same time. And, you know, that's very common. Like, an elite pack every 10-15 seconds, unless you just get really bad density, is very, very common. So, damage against elites is going to become critical, and so is, you know, damage reduction from elites. Come on. This bug is still there, guys, by the way. I think the Waller bug is still there to an extent, because it's a fix that Blizzard put in, and then they never, like, they fixed it, and then, but then recently in the patch notes they were saying how, like, they reverted the fix because it had some unintended consequences. Whatever that means. I think people were actually teleporting where they weren't supposed to. So you can get past Waller, but just so you guys know, it does still bug out sometimes. And I have noticed that. It's not that I'm a bad teleporter, I noticed it. So anyway, we're going to play out the rest of this Rift, just to kind of show you guys, you know, what you can expect on Torment 3 with this level of gear. And, you know, Wizard play is not bad. I have played around with Black Hole a little bit, not too much. I think that's actually something I can talk about while we're doing this. I think Black Hole is actually going to get changed because it's kind of a weird skill. Like, it's in a very weird spot. I mean, it does decent damage and it has a nice mechanic, but it's got a really awkward cooldown. Like, 12-second cooldown is just weird because either it should be like a high cooldown ability or like a long cooldown ability, but oh Jesus, these things suck. This is literally the worst, like, part. Anyway, I think it should be either a high cooldown ability but do a lot more damage and have like a, you know, a bigger effect, like a more significant effect, or they should lower the cooldown and keep it how it is, because 12 seconds is just, like, it doesn't take you, you know, 12 seconds to get from pack to pack, so it's not really useful every time you face a pack of enemies, but it's not a crazy enough ability that, you know, you want to save it for elites, and you're not going to run into elites necessarily every 12 seconds either. And even with cooldown reduction, like, it's still too long of a cooldown, I feel. So either it needs to be buffed in damage to keep the cooldown the same, or the cooldown needs to be reduced and, you know, keep the damage how it is. Because, and it's not that it's not useful, like, it absolutely is, but you do have to kind of tweak it a little bit, and the problem is that you give up another skill slot, something that could be more useful for it. So it's not that it's a bad skill, it's kind of in a weird spot. But anyway, guys, so we're getting close to the Rift Guardian here, if we ever get to these gates. And in general, I think Blizzard did a really good job randomizing all this, you know, just because, like, this is something that you're not going to get bored doing. And I do think they are going to tweak it a little bit, especially with the announcement of tiered rifts, kind of like in a ladder-like system. So we'll see what kind of longevity this has, but as it stands, rifts are a lot of fun, and they're very, very chaotic. Like, I don't even want to go there and see what's going on right now, but it's pretty crazy. We'll get another shrine. Nemesis bracers are nice to have. I'll swap. That way you get even more leads. And, you know, just kind of one final comment on Black Hole. Like, even for this build that I'm running right now, I wouldn't take Black Hole, because if I really wanted something that I would use for elites, I would use Archon. That's it. So it would be, you know, whatever my normal build is plus Archon. And that's why I don't think Black Hole is really going to be used that much until Blizzard changes it a little bit. But overall, I think the Wizard is in a good spot. Yeah, you could definitely stand there and face tank a lot of damage, especially if you have a full monk. You know, the fact that there's no lifesteal isn't really that big a deal, because passive regeneration and like high life on hit is actually not that hard to get, and the values are so high at 70 that when you combine it with, again, a certain type of toughness stacking and mitigation, that, like, see right there, I took a single teleport hit, didn't do that much damage. But anyway, when you combine it with enough mitigation, you really don't have anything to worry about. You know, you still don't want to just stand there in ground effects for an extended period of time, but you know, it's not bad. And even if I didn't have the armor shrine right now, he still wouldn't one-shot me. And this is T3, so by the way, stats buffed, standing still, 1.28 mil, almost 1.3 mil, 8.3 mil toughness. And what's my healing? I do have mantra of healing too, so my healing with the monk is 21,000 per second, which is, I don't know what that is, but that's probably somewhere around like 15 to 17% of my hit points every second. So you guys can see how quickly when I do take a hit, how quickly my life regenerates. So this is almost kind of like how Diablo 2 was. We didn't have lifesteal, but if you just stacked life regeneration, like you would fill back up pretty quickly, so you can mitigate a lot of damage that way. So, all in all, guys, this is day 2, Torment 3, Rifts. Not very difficult. So, there you go, guys. Not very hard. You know, by the way, you can continue these rifts too. Like, even if you're done with the rift, you can still continue killing stuff. I don't really like to, because, I mean, yeah, you could, if you get one that's got good density in it, then keep going. But other than that, I don't really see a point. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see you guys soon.